right? Muhammad looked at Zaynab, thought she's beautiful. Yeah, but she's wife of my adopted son. What do? No, I'm no more adoption. He's not really my son, so I can take his wife.
And that's exactly what he did.
And that's why to this day adoption is outlawed in Muslim countries. You can look after orphans, but you can't adopt them into your family, like legally. You give them your name, you give them inheritance, you give them all that. You can't do that.
You can foster them, but you can adopt them.
Hello, welcome back to Religious Insight on this exciting episode of our usual debate between Godlogic and Muslims. On this episode, Godlogic had an intense debate with a female Muslim who heard enough truth for her to leave Islam. Let's watch this video for more amazing details.
Solange, are you a Muslim? Thumbs up if you're a Muslim. You're a Muslim? I gotta bring you up. Yeah. How you doing?
Good. Good. Yeah, interesting conversation. I didn't know it would get that deep.
Yeah? How long you been a Muslim?
So my dad is Palestinian and my mom is like Catholic. She's American. And we just grew up that way. And then now he's trying to bring me back into the fold of it. So I just wanted to see what was happening.
I see. So you're basically, he's trying to bring you, to get you serious about Islam. And you're trying to, I guess, kind of do your research about it before you go for it.
I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Well, God brought you to the right place. I'll tell you that.
We'll see. A lot of people are very controversial about Islam.
Yeah. So truth is controversial. It's always going to be controversial. Always.
Yeah. A little aggressive, but it is what it is.
With certain people, it depends. Depends on who, you're engaging with. If you're engaging with people who are arrogant and aggressive, you kind of got to meet that energy. If some people come on,
people in the comments are also kind of aggressive. Like, come on, like
forget the comments. It's the internet.
It's very true.
So, do you have a question for us on this topic here about the Quran? Because he's going to tell you that the Quran has been perfectly preserved. Every other book in human history.
Yeah, I heard that, and I thought it was until you guys said something. But it doesn't really make any sense. So, if you're saying that that Islam is false, right, and Muhammad is a false prophet, blah blah blah, but you also believe some things from the Quran because it came after the Bible. Like, do you think it's all bullshit?
Language, please. But it's all good.
Do you think it's all false, or do you like?
Yeah. So basically, we don't take any information from the Quran as like our source of information. Like if the Quran gets some things right, the Quran is not the source of that correct thing. Like for example, it says that Jesus was born of a virgin. We believe that, right? That information doesn't come from the Quran. That comes from the gospel. So the gospel is our source of information. The Quran happens to get this right. You know what I'm saying? So the Quran is not a source of truth for us in any way, shape, or form.
Well, okay. Damn.
But there's a reason why.
You think Muhammad, so you just think that he's a liar?
Yeah, I believe he was. I believe that it's a mix of things. Muhammad was a flat out liar, and we could show examples of why. But I also think that there was a little bit of deception there as well, because I'm among those who I believe that Muhammad really had an experience in the cave. I really do believe he had an experience. It just wasn't an angelic, godly experience. I believe that he had an encounter with an evil spirit, and because what we see is after his experience, one, he comes out of the cave fearful. He comes out of the cave, running to his wife, looking for coverage and safety, to be consoled because of his experience. He came out of there thinking that he was demon possessed and wanting to commit suicide. So these are not the effects of.
Where does it say that though?
Oh, here we got you, John DLC. If y'all got some sources you want to show as well on this, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to ask you, Solange. So you said your dad wants to bring you into the fold of Islam.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into the fold of Islam?
I've thought about it. When we were kids, he is very into it. Like, well, obviously, and he would pray and stuff like that. Well, he does pray. And I thought about it. I was like, why not? Like, I just wanted to do more research. And the rest of my siblings also are. So,
what do you think? Do you think it's true or false? Like, if you had to guess. Everything you know about Islam so far.
I feel like it's biased because a lot of the people here obviously think it's.
No, I'm not about us. You. I'm asking.
Okay. I think it's a little. I can't curse on here. Okay. Some of the things that I've read in it are very weird and inappropriate. So I've asked my dad about it, and he always has like a rebuttal. And he's very smart, and he always has something to say about everything I ask him. So it's hard to get a clear answer. But yeah, some things are just a little odd. Him having like a young wife or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a very hot topic. He didn't really talk about that part. But yeah, it's just interesting.
Oh, they're not going to talk about that. Have you asked your dad about that? Oh, I'm sorry. You have a line of questions. Go ahead, DOC.
No. Yeah. Have you asked your dad? Let's go with what Godlogic was saying. Have you asked your dad about Aisha and Muhammad?
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. I'm a little scared to ask him about that because I know it's not. I don't know. I'm a little scared to ask him about that part. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very honest.
But he takes it very serious.
So, if the Quran happened to not be preserved, would that help you decide then that Islam is not real, or will you still want to please your dad and become Muslim anyway?
No, I'm not. I would never please my dad. Like, if I'm not gonna, no. It's more like I have a child now, so I'm contemplating. I want to be more religious, so I'm contemplating Christianity since that's what my mom is. And I know a few things about it, or Islam. So I'm just trying to figure out more information on both. But if Islam is sounding more false, then yeah, no. Obviously, I'm not going to choose that if it's a lie from what I read.
Okay. Well, what does preservation of the Quran mean to you? Like, what did they tell you it was? Like, I can tell you what they told me growing up, because I grew up Muslim. They said it's word for word, letter for letter.
Yeah.
And in Muhammad's mouth until now, 1400 years, nothing changed. That's what I was told.
Yeah. That's exactly pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So all of that is
always right.
So all of that is false. I've came to find out according to the Muslim history, actually, which they hide from people. So the book that, if you go to the library or you go to the mosque, the books that are in most Muslim countries is called Hafs Quran. If you like, you can even Google it. HAFS, F for Freddy. HAFS Quran, Hafs Quran. It's named after the person who narrated it from his teacher. Okay. So Hafs has nothing to do with Muhammad. He wasn't at his time or anything.
So there's more than one.
Well, he gives a chain of narration of, I got it from this teacher, from that teacher, from this person, from that person. He puts it in the beginning of the Mus'haf of the Quran. If you go into the lives of each of these people, he found out they recited different verses. They thought different things about the Quran. The version that Hafs at least is not what they were reciting. And we can go through each one of these names if you want. We've got all that information here.
Also, there's more than one Quran.
Yeah, so Hafs is one. Like Brother Godlogic was holding up a few. So Warsh is the sort of second most known one. Warsh, W-A-R-S-A. You find the Warsh Quran in like Morocco, the sort of North African countries, the Western North African countries, and even some African countries. And the Warsh Quran has like different words, different Arabic words. We've got a few examples if you like. One of the most common examples is, there's a verse that says the angels are the Ibadur Rahman, the servants of Allah.
Yeah.
And that's in the Hafs. And the verse says Inda Rahman, they're with Allah. So it's like different words. And they're like different legal rulings that come from these Qurans. So if you look through the history, Muslims canonized different numbers of Qurans at different times. They ended up canonizing 10 throughout the century. So they started by canonizing 7, and then someone came and added 3. And they call them qira'at, which means recitations. Now, growing up, you might have heard Warsh or Hafs or these names if you're in different parts of the world. They just say, oh, it's accents, just different accents.
Yeah, like the different dialects.
Yeah, different dialects. That's what they told us, and that's what the people that we're talking to were saying. But if you actually open them up and read them, they're actually different words completely. And we've got like some examples if you want. Sometimes you've got some words missing, like the huwa, the pronoun is missing. Sometimes you've got sometimes you've got different the bismillah, the beginning is missing.
Yeah.
And so they're numbered differently in the Quran. So the verse number is even different. If you quote it, it will go to a different verse. Like I've got it here on the screen for you.
Oh, okay. Wow,
So this is like a easy one just to see.
Wait, hold on, sis. I don't see.
Y'all are ruthless in these comments.
Right.
My God.
Don't worry about the comments, sister. Don't worry. Yeah, sorry.
It's just interesting.
Screen remove.
Sorry, you'll be sister when you come to Christ. But as you can see, I'm not aggressive with you because you're listening, you're quite humble. So here you've got Hafs in the you see here the 24. This is the verse number.
Yeah, I see it.
And the bottom is Warsh is 23.
Yeah.
So if you actually have a look, it's the same verse.
Oh, it's different. Yeah.
And it's a different number because they started at the different verse. So they didn't start at the Bismillah. And then if you have a look at the purple, I'm not sure how much Arabic you know, but there is actually a word missing.
Oh yeah, it looks different.
Looks different. And if you really want to be pick at it, you see the other purple. There's no Hamza. So the no Hamza part is not that big a deal in my opinion, but the whole missing is a big deal. This one whole word missing. So the question is, did Allah reveal it like this and then like that? Like did Jibril come twice? That's just for one missing word. So the most obvious explanation is the scribe missed the word.
Well, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can find all this stuff online, by the way. This is not a secret. It's just an open secret. They don't tell you what.
Oh, so it just seems like the internet came and then like...
The internet came and blew Islam open.
Wow.
Yeah. Blew it open. And by the way, if you guys are continuing with this, I do have that hadith ready about Muhammad and his, being afraid after his experience in the cave. So if you wanted to read through that, I got that ready for you if you want to see that.
Yeah, we got a couple of sources here too where he actually identifies it as a devil as well, like this creature. But yeah, go ahead. You can you put it up.
I thought it was an angel.
Well, that's what the story. Yeah, that's how it transforms. But he initially thought it was a devil, a demon.
So it's going to be here on the right. Hold on, let me big screen this one. Okay, there we go. All right, can you see it? Because I know you're on your phone. I'll read it.
If I get real close to it, yeah, I can see it. It's fine actually. I can just zoom in. It's not that big of a deal.
I'll zoom in too. All right. So it says, narrated Aisha, the little bride. The commencement of the divine inspiration to Allah's messenger was in the form of good, righteous dreams in his sleep. He never had a dream, but that it came true like bright daylight. He used to go in seclusion, the cave of Hira, where he used to worship Allah alone continuously for many days and nights. He used to take with him on the journey food for that stay, and then come back to Khadijah to take his food likewise again to another period to stay. Till suddenly the truth descended upon him while he was in the cave of Hira. The angel came to him in it and asked him to read. The prophet replied, I do not know how to read. The angel caught me forcefully. So this is Muhammad speaking. The angel caught me forcefully and pressed me so hard that I could not bear it anymore. Sounds like a nice angel, huh? He then released me again and asked me to read. And I replied, I do not know how to read. Whereupon he caught me again and pressed me a second time till I could not bear it anymore. He then released me and asked me again to read. But again I replied, I do not know how to read, or what shall I read? Thereupon he caught me for the third time and pressed me and then released me and said, read in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists, has created man from clot. Read, and your Lord is most generous, up to that which he knew not. Then Allah's messenger returned with the inspiration, and listen to the symptoms here, Solange.
Okay.
His neck muscles twitching with terror till he entered upon Khadijah and said, cover me, cover me. They covered him till his fear was over, and then he said, "Oh Khadijah, what is wrong with me?" Then he told her everything that had happened and said, "I fear that something may happen to me." Khadijah said, "Never, but have the glad tidings, for by Allah, Allah will never disgrace you as you keep good reactions with your kith and kin. Speak the truth, help the poor and destitute, serve your guests generously, and assist the deserving, calamity afflicted ones." Khadijah then accompanied him to Waraka. That's very long.
Yeah. You don't have to read it all if you don't want to.
But you see it, right?
Yeah. Is this translated? Is okay.
And this is the Arabic is at the bottom if you want the Arabic.
Oh, okay. I can't read anyway. It's fine.
You can't read. Okay.
So pretty much, no, I can't. So pretty much, it seems like it's probably not an angel if they're.
When you read the Bible and they try to say that this angel is Gabriel 1, you see that this spirit creature does not announce who it is. It doesn't say, "Hey, I'm Gabriel," or "whoop de whoop." How does he even know that it's an angel, other than what people tell him? 2, when you read the Bible gives explicit examples of when angels appear to certain people, like Gabriel, him specifically, and Gabriel comes and he'll bring peace to the situation. Now, at first glance, they'll be startled at seeing the angel, but he'll immediately say, "Peace be with you. Peace be with you. My name's Gabriel. I'm from the Lord with the message," or whatever. And he'll comfort the person, not oppress the person like we see here. So, completely different, Any comments, Jai, DLC?
Yeah, we actually have a source from, Sahih Hadith, but it's in Arabic. It actually says that Muhammad was scared that it could be shaitan.
Mm-hmm.
We can give it to you in Arabic if you want. You can take a screenshot. I can translate it for you if you like. So this is from, I'll just put it on there first. Okay, this is from a scholar called Ibn al-Jawzi. He's a man who came about 500 years after Muhammad, and he talked about the problems in Sahih Hadith. That's the book. It's called
the teachings of Muhammad.
Okay. And one of the problems he said was that here in the highlighted yellow, he says, "Kana sallallahu alayhi wasallam." He, peace be upon him, يخاف في بداية الأمر, used to be scared in the beginning, أن يكون ما يراه من قبل الشيطان, that what he was seeing was from the devil. I'm just gonna try. You see here, I mean, if you can read Arabic, you can probably read some.
So pretty much you guys think, or it seems like it is that he was possessed.
Yeah, because when you read the Bible, like Brother Godlogic was saying, first of all, an angel, when he comes, he says, "I am this person. I'm from the Lord. I'm an angel," and he says, "Do not fear." Like when he came to Mary to tell her she was conceiving Jesus, he says, "Do not fear." Same thing with Joseph, "Do not fear." And also, none of the prophets of God or messengers of God, when they encountered an angel, did they ever think it was the devil?
Never. Because God comes with assurance. He comes with truth. He doesn't come with doubt, and he doesn't come with a presence that looks a bit like the devil. So that's my problem with, one of our big problems with Islam is that the source of the revelation is demon-like.
And according to certain sources, even Muhammad recognized it as a demon, right?
Yeah, like, did they tell you the story when he ran to his wife and he was scared after the cave incident?
Yeah,
when he ran to his wife, he said to her, "Woe to me, poet or possessed. Never will Quraysh says this of me." So he says, that's in Ibn Hisham's biography, which was written later by Ibn Ishaq. It's in English, by the way. Now we can give you Ibn Ishaq. No, Ibn Hisham rewrote it. Sorry, and he said that his first impression is that it's a demon, and he was possessed by a demon. And then it was Khadija, his wife, who said, "No, it can't be. You're a good person. It's not a demon. You're a prophet." So there were no witnesses in the cave, and it was a woman's testimony, someone who never saw this being, who said, "No, it can't be." That's very weak.
She wasn't a prophet.
She wasn't a prophet. She was a woman, and at that time, there was nothing to believe in, so she wasn't even a believer or anything. She's just his wife, who just wanted to reassure her husband. That's not good enough for me as proof, Yeah.
So do you guys think that, like, Muhammad was possessed? Because I know in Christianity, when someone's possessed, it's like you have to get exorcised, or I don't know.
Yeah. You're thinking
you just think his entire life, or after that point in time, that he was just possessed.
There is a hadith where he actually was possessed for real, and he said he was possessed. They call it bewitched. You can get it, or Godlogic can get it.
Yep, I got it right here, my sister.
It's a demon.
So he thought that he always blames the Jews. He thought the Jews did a spell on him or something, which is very weak for a prophet of God to think someone can just, do him like that. Like his God has no power. But that's what he said. And Aisha narrated it, as you can see at the top here in the English.
Yep, over here to the right. Sahih Bukhari 3175 narrated Aisha, the child bride again. Once the prophet was bewitched, so that he began to imagine that he had done a thing, which in fact he had not done. So, yes, he was possessed. He was bewitched. Dark powers influenced Muhammad and controlled his mind, and he used to think he would do things he didn't do. How in the world can anybody believe that this dude is a prophet?
Yeah, and check out this source as well. This actually tells you the reason for why chapter 113 and 114 were revealed. The reason why these verses were revealed. Why? Because Muhammad was actually possessed. So even according to Islamic sources, the reason why these last two chapters, well, in like today's Quran, they're the last two chapters.
Yeah.
Why were they revealed? Because he was under possession, demonic possession. And this source says 6 months. Some of them raise it up like for a longer time, but 6 months he was possessed. This gives an example. Like he thought that he was, excuse the language, but he thought he was having intercourse with his wives, but he wasn't having intercourse with his wife. So he was delusional. He was thinking he was doing things that he wasn't doing. Right?
Yeah.
And Allah revealed supposedly these two last surahs, or I'm saying last because that's in today's Quran, but that's not that's not the exact chronological order. But those two surahs were revealed to supposedly rid Muhammad of this demonic possession. So that's why those two chapters were revealed according to Islamic tradition. So what we're saying is, from our perspective, Muhammad was definitely demonically possessed. But we're saying even in Islamic sources, the devil even tells us, himself that he had possession, even in their sources. So it's kind of like crying out to you, saying, "Don't believe this is from God." Even in their sources, it says
the devil.
Okay. You're saying don't believe it's from God because he was possessed.
Well, that's one reason.
Lips. Okay. Because I got it.
This is one of many reasons. One of many reasons. You already mentioned one of the first things is, his immoral and carnal actions in taking a child bride and sleeping with her at 9 and saying that God presented her in his dream so he can do it. So using God as a crutch to commit pedophilia is an obvious sign of a false prophet, using God as your mouthpiece to do whatever you want and to fulfill your desires. In fact, it was so bad that even Aisha used to say that it seems that your Lord hastens to fulfill your desires. That's what Aisha says herself. You guys know that hadith, John?
Yeah, exactly. And why don't we pull up the verse first? Because chapter 33, verse 50, because that's what she quotes, and it's like crazy.
The verse is actually worse than the hadith.
But that's the context of it. That's like the backdrop. So 33, verse 50.
Have you ever read Surah 33, verse 50?
Yeah. By the way, have you read the Quran?
No.
Are you in the process of reading it, or are you?
So when I grew up, my parents split up.
Okay.
But my dad kind of really taught it to my brothers, not really to me. He would talk about it, and he would say things about like Christian people, and he had still does. He has a deep hatred for Jewish people. So things like that. But I didn't read the Quran. He's telling me to read it now, and I've been trying to understand it.
Okay, we'll get you started then. We'll get you started. Surah 33, Surah Al-Ahzab, verses 50.
I'll just put up on the screen here.
To 51. Here, Allah's telling Muhammad who he can sleep with. Sorry. I mean,
we're supposed to believe this is from God. Like, this is what God's concerned with.
Right. Yeah. So, if you think about it, like
50 to 51.
A God who's telling the man who to sleep with and who not to sleep with, I'm thinking this man is just making it up because he's talking about his bedroom life. But it gets worse. So he tells them this long list of who he can sleep with, right? Your right hand possessed, which are sex slaved, daughters of paternal uncles, daughters of paternal aunts, daughters of maternal uncles, daughters of maternal aunts. Okay, so you can sleep with everyone. Great. The next verse, 51.
Yeah.
You may. Okay. Sorry. Where is it? I know it's in the Arabic more. Oh, here it is. At the end of the list, he says,
if any believing woman.
Yeah, and a believing woman who gives herself to the Prophet.
Any believing woman who wants to throw herself at you, Muhammad, you got it, man.
Yeah, so...
Now, watch how his wife, his child bride, watch how she responded to this. Check this out.
She didn't like it.
Let me just change the color. It might be a little difficult to read.
Aisha said, as you see, being jealous of the women who offered themselves to God. So once they heard the verse, they started offering themselves. They said, because Allah said, any believing woman who offers herself, he can sleep with. So she asked, does a woman offer herself? She had dignity. She thought that's crazy. That's when God apparently sent down, you may defer any of them you wish and take of them any you wish.
So if you basically saying you can swipe left or swipe right.
By the way, if you read that verse, Muslim men are not allowed to do that. If they have more than one wife, they have to be just between them. I'm sure you've heard that. Treat them equally.
Didn't really work out for Muhammad Hijab's wife though, but yeah.
That's what he meant to do. But Muhammad has a privilege in that verse. The verse says, this is only a privilege for you, forsaking other believers. So she said, Aisha said, it seems to me that your Lord hastens to satisfy your desire. Like your Lord is quick to give you what you want.
Yeah.
This is by Bukhari and Muslim, it's Sahih Hadith. So this man who uses his God, or what he tells people is God, to sleep with whoever he wants.
This is what we call the convenient revelations that Muhammad would receive, right? This is, whenever there's a situation, it seems like Allah, it's like his magic genie or something. Like he just, hey, I need something that, boom, he wants to sleep with this woman. Oh, you want to sleep with your adopted son's wife? Oh, guess what? Adoption is abolished, and guess what? She's your wife, right? Like I don't know if you know that story or not, but Muhammad conveniently received a revelation after he was taken aback by the beauty of his adopted son's wife. He walked in and he saw her, and in a state where he was like, whoa, Allah makes my heart, changes the heart. He changed my heart. And so then all of a sudden he conveniently receives a revelation saying, hey, guess what? Adoption is abolished. And then guess what? This guy, he divorces his wife. So Muhammad now marries her. This is Zaynab. I don't know if you know his wife Zaynab. That's the story behind that.
Yeah, that's my sister's name. Yeah,
Okay. So imagine your sister is named after
the lady that was taken by Muhammad. Like if you study,
well, my dad explained it to me as this. He said in that time, when people were captive, I guess, when I guess they killed their husbands, I don't really know. When their husbands were dead, because they didn't have any protection, Muhammad and his men would marry them, so they had protection.
So why is it that you need to sleep with someone to protect them?
Oh, but before that though,
well, he said that they didn't have sex with them. Well, that's what my dad said.
Yeah, but the case with Zaynab is not that. But check this out. This is what's actually happened. So Muhammad, he is destroying the entire tribe, right? Like if you're talking about the story of like Safiya, for example, he's destroying the entire tribe. He's I don't know if Godlogic is still on TikTok, so I'll say unaliving. He's unaliving this entire tribe, right? And their heads are rolling on the floor because of him. And so all the men, all the males they're gone now. They're unalived, right? I have to use this language just so he doesn't get like in trouble from TikTok. And so Muhammad is the one creating this problem. And so your dad is like, well, yeah, so after a war happens, someone needs to take care of them. But Muhammad's the one causing the war. So if he wanted them to be taken care of, then, okay, the men could keep taking care of them. He doesn't need to unalive them all, right? He doesn't need to do that. But the case with Zaynab is different. Yeah,
so Muhammad was known for marrying widows. Like your dad said, to take care of them. Guess who made them widows?
Yeah,
he did. Like for example, Safiya was a lady who was just newly married, a Jewish lady in a tribe called Banu Nadir, the children of Nadir. Okay, she was newly married to someone called Kinana. Muhammad came upon the Nadir, killed their men, including Kinana, and tortured Kinana before he died. Why? Because Kinana knew where the money of the tribe was buried. Tortured him until he found out where it is. Okay?
He was like the chief of the, yeah.
All right. Then, nice, beautiful young bride, Safiya, she's a widow now. MashaAllah, mercy to mankind has to look after the widows. He just made her a widow and then took her. What do you think of that? Nice context. She's talking about
it. Does seem to not make any sense.
Okay, but that's not the story of Zaynab. Zaynab was not a widow. Zaynab was the daughter of his adopted son. And at the time, the Arabs had dignity, is that even if you adopt someone, even if he's not flesh and blood, you don't look at his daughter. You don't look at his wife. Because she's like your daughter. That's what the Arabs thought. Right? Muhammad looked at Zaynab, thought she's beautiful. Yeah, but she's wife of my adopted son. What do I do? No, I'm no more adoption. He's not really my son, so I can take his daughter. I can take his wife.
And that's exactly what he did.
And that's why to this day adoption is outlawed in Muslim countries. You can look after orphans, but you can't adopt them into your family like legally. You give them your name, you give them inheritance, you give them all that. You can't do that.
You can foster them, but you can adopt them.
Yes, and the name of his adopted son was Zayd. Zayd is the only person whose name is in the Quran, besides Muhammad, of course. Like only name of like people around of the Sahaba, people of the companions, right? Zayd. And the verse said, after Zayd had his need of her, meaning his wife, we gave the wife to you in marriage, so that to show them that you can take the wife of your adopted sons, previously adopted sons. It literally says that in Surah 33, in the story of Zayd and Zaynab and Muhammad. So he did everything for the sake of the bedroom, either the sake of the bedroom or the sake of money. Like all cults nowadays, if you look at cult leaders, they care about two things: money and sex, and power, of course.
3.
Yeah, money and sex and power. And if anyone is against them, oh, God told me I have to sleep with all the women of the tribe. It's very much like that. Or God told me I have to take all the money of the tribe. You know, a portion of it for me. You literally see that in Surah Al-Anfal, Surah 80, verse 1. It says all the spoils of war go to Allah and the Messenger. You can't send them to Allah in the sky, can you? They go in the pocket of the Messenger.
Well, thank you for explaining it to me.
How is that a prophet from God?
Very interesting. Yeah, a lot to think about.
Yeah,
I don't want to take up any more time because I'm sure other people want to argue, debate on this topic. So
yeah, but we care about you as well. So after we finish here, you can rewind to all the points we made, look them up, and check them out, and then make your decision.
Yeah, but thank you.
Avery, you're muted.
You're very welcome.
So
I knew that. Yeah. No, I was just saying, you know, God bless Solange. Thank you for coming through. And you're welcome anytime. If you have some more questions, if you have questions about Christianity, we would love to walk you through the gospel.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Come back on another stream, and we'll whenever you feel like it, and we'll walk you through. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, God bless.
God bless.
Bye.
So I know the Muslims are fuming right now, and they want to talk on these topics.
Yeah.
Right. But we have a topic, right? So
that's right. I just want to say I taught Jai and DLC so well what they taught me, and I've never been more proud of people, you know. And so, man, grace and patience. Praise God. Amen.
We're proud of you, brother.
Yeah.
Proud of you. And what God's doing through you.
Amen.
Oh, thank you.
All right, welcome back, guys. That was an amazing and fascinating one. I believe you were able to learn something new. Let us know your thoughts and what you were able to learn in the comment section. Internet is the greatest undoing of Islam. In the next few years, the truth about the true Islam will open for everyone to see. This is one of the best debates I have seen in recent time, and we have to give it to Avery for that depth of knowledge about the both religion, both Christianity and Islam. I think Muhammad is giving Angel Gabriel a bad reputation by saying he pressed him. Angel Gabriel cannot do that to Muhammad. Muhammad saw a demon and not Angel Gabriel, as he claims. The personality he saw in that cave that almost took his life in a bid to give in the message of the Quran cannot be Angel Gabriel. From the biblical description of Angel Gabriel, the angel is not a warrior angel, he's a messenger angel. You can go to the book of Daniel, where he was bringing message for Daniel and he was obstructed by the Prince of Persia. He did not fight back, rather he stood there, he waited until Michael, who is the warrior angel, came to deliver him from Prince of Persia. So if he's a warrior angel and he's violent, he would have attacked the Prince of Persia to defeat him by himself, but that is not his jurisdiction, so he had to wait for somebody, for a personality that his jurisdiction covers that aspect. So for him saying that it was Angel Gabriel that came to press him in the cave, I think that information is totally wrong. It is not true. She gives her dad's explanation of things, how Muhammad and his companion would marry to give the women protection, but her dad forgets to mention that marrying isn't necessary to give protection. On top of that, on hadith saying that Muhammad can refuse or accept who he wants to, it does not make sense at all. If the only criteria you have, the only thing you have to give people protection is by marrying them, then you have to marry the whole women who are around you at the time, because you have to give every one of them protection, even children, so you have to marry them off too. So I don't think trying to protect people by marrying them is the right way to go about it, and this is one of the reasons why we have been saying that this prophet is not a true prophet of God and has deceived many, if not millions, of people to hell. So guys, I believe that was an amazing one. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Share this video, subscribe, and also don't forget to like it as well. We'd love to see you in the next episode.